Hey, 90504. What? Hey, shout out to Matt Miller. What?
Hey,
What?
I got my man Josh from South Bay Reptiles in the house.
What's up,
What's
guys?
up?
What's up? What's up? How you guys
Yep.
doing? Reptile
So
lovers, where you at?
yeah, so I'll give a quick introduction. I met this dude riding my bike in the South Bay, obviously.
Yeah.
And he was selling some reptile, and I was like, hey, I want to buy that. And then we met up at Alondra Park, and we made a little transaction.
During
I
a
got
park day. Yeah. We
I
got
got
the ticks out. Yeah.
and I bought a spiny-tailed iguana from you, Cenosaura pectinata.
Which looks beautiful
Yeah.
now. We just took a look at her. She is gorgeous. Oh my god.
So that's how I met you, and we've been buying, selling, and trading stuff the whole time. You know me, I'm a kind of like a entrepreneur type of dude. Like I have a little bike shop, and I know you have your own reptile shop. So that's why I wanted to bring you on this podcast, because there's not a lot of independent business owners that I know that are like under 30 years old, kind of, like usually when people get into small business, they're older.
Right.
So I just wanted to bring on somebody that could, kind of talk a little bit about what it's like to own a business and all these things. And plus,
Stressful.
I love reptiles, so
Yeah.
I keep reptiles. I'm a reptile keeper. For all the viewers that are not into reptiles, this episode is going to be about reptiles.
Purely.
So y'all can, and
Yeah.
then,
Enjoy it or get into it or just love it, man. It's fun. It's still
Yeah.
fun talking.
If you don't like reptiles, I mean, reptiles are cool, dude. They're like any other type of animal, I like reptiles. I like all animals, you know what I mean? So, anyways, some of the things that I wanted to talk about, I was mentioning, was owning a small business. So, kind of talk about like what is South Bay Reptiles and how'd you get started and all that good stuff.
All right, cool. So I'm Josh Alvarez. I'm 22 years old. I'm a small business owner of South Bay Reptiles, and South Bay Reptiles, more of anything, is a breeding facility of mine. And what it was is I started with a collection since I was little. I've always been collecting reptiles from any reptile shop and keeping and trying to breed. When I was little, obviously it was bearded dragons, leopard geckos, all that stuff. And I had a lot of this at home. I've always kept reptiles. I never stopped, and this collection started growing and growing and growing, and to a point where I was like, all right, I can't keep this at home anymore. Like there's no way I'm gonna breed, keep, and have all the cages that are necessary for these animals to thrive. Inside of my room that I was living in with my mom at the time. And
how many reptiles did you have in your room at the time? Did your mom get mad? She was like, "Hijo, que tienes tantas lagartijas?"
all the time, bro. She was like, dude, I thought you said you were bringing like 2 snakes, and I'd bring in like 4 monitors and 3 snakes, and then I'd open up a box with a boa in it. And she's like, I thought you were getting like corn snakes, ball pythons latched onto my neck. I'm like, I swear it's okay. It's just how it kisses me, mom. But oh yeah, no, the upset. Yeah, I put my mom through the ringer for reptiles. But how many did I have in the room? Probably like more than 10 for sure, man. Like 10 or 12.
That's a lot.
Yeah, dude, it was a lot. But I try to keep my species count kind of low, so taking care of them was a little bit easier. So you have similarities. It's kind of what I do now too, but obviously on a little bit larger scale as the past year now. So yeah,
That's interesting. So you just kind of kept them for fun, and then as a sport hobby type of thing, and then it evolved. It just got too big. And then eventually,
never too big with reptiles. I'm always down to grow more and more, but it did get too big for the room.
Too big for your house,
yeah,
too big for your mom. So then after that, you thought about setting up a shop. Like what made you jump into saying, hey, I think I want to make some money doing this? Like, what made you think you could do that?
Honestly, I mean, the money's always there with reptiles. If you breed some high-end reptiles or anything with quality, and when I say quality, I just mean, dude, just take care of the animal the way it's supposed to be taken care of, and
right.
Make sure it's healthy. And it's not that hard, man. Just give them what they need and maybe some more. And for me, man, what made me want to get into doing it bigger, I guess, was I saw a lot of independent breeders start, branding their names. So they would, grab a name and they'd commit to, okay, I breed this species or this species. And some of those people would actually grab multiple species that they liked, and they would breed those. And that really made me think. I was like, all right, I want to breed all my favorite species. So when you go on my Instagram at SBR Josh, it says I breed all my favorite reptiles, right? And I literally mean only my favorite reptiles. Like when I first started, you knew me. I think you saw when I bought the hundreds of geckos, man. When I bought those hundreds of geckos thinking, okay, you can just sell like a store, Josh, and, you know, hold some back and breed them. Dude, it was like, it was cool, great, you know, it's cool, but, you know, a lot of people were like, you know, you're just flipping animals and all that. And essentially, at the end of the day, they were kind of right, man. And I had to see that, and I opened my eyes to that because one of my buddies who really cared about me, and he's in the reptile hobby too, he was like, dude, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. You need to breed all your own animals and you know, go from there. You're claiming that you want to have the top of the top quality. Well, you can't depend on other people's animals. And I was like, all right, cool. So that's where the facility came in, man.
So I think so if I were to summarize it for the people that don't, you know, to compare it to other business, let's say you like the hobby of reptiles and then you wanted an identity. So you said you saw other people created like a brand kind of thing around their breeding
Whatever
or
they
keeping
breed.
whatever they breed, right? So you thought that you would create a brand around your hobby, right?
What I breed.
Yeah, and so that's what you did, right? So
Yep.
now the South Bay Reptiles is your thing, and that's what you do, right?
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I think it's very important to make that distinction because I think that's where small business starts. Like for me, like yeah, I like bicycles and I like building bicycles, but I never had a brand name or like a thing for people to remember me by. It was the moment that I decided that I wanted people to know what that brand name was that it became Fusion Workshop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or Fusion in general. Like I think that's the how you get started. You know what I mean?
Would you say it's when you started putting more love into it, when you started kind of like, you were like, you know what, this is me? Because that's where I felt it. That's where South Bay Reptiles, the name came, when I was like, dude, this is so me. I need a freaking name, like an alias, you know? Like,
yeah.
That's how South Bay Reptiles came about, man. It was so hard to name myself. But I think, yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah, once you name it, you know, you start growing so much, man, because you just start putting that extra love into it. And going back
it's all love. It's all love, you know? Like, we do it, like, I mean, like we said, like, we do it because there's money to be made, but at the same time, there's so much more that it's your lifestyle, you know. It's everything. It's what you do. You know what I mean?
Work, I don't go to work.
Yeah. That's the key.
Insane.
That's the cheat
It's
code
insane.
to life.
It really is.
The cheat code to life is making so that when you go to work, it's not actually work. You know what I mean?
It's not, man.
Yeah. Once you can make work fun, then now you're talking. You know?
Oh yeah, it's a whole different. Yeah, it changes your sort of perspective on life, man. 100%.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And you know, small businesses like that, it's pretty incredible, actually. You know, for us to have the opportunity, you know, to even do small business things like this. You know what I mean?
Dude, during a time like this,
during a time like this too.
And both of us were able to succeed thanks to our cities. That, dude, you know, our cities support us, man, and that's the one thing I think you need to be really involved with the cities.
Yeah,
and
the people.
Yeah, the people. I mean, you know, they decide if you get to stay or not. At the end of the day, you know, they say I like that shop or I don't like that shop, and they either support you or they don't. So
that's right.
At the end of the day, you're only as good as your people want you to be, in a way, you know. But you gotta show them that.
And you're still providing a service, right? So you still, like, you know, you have feeders and you do sell particular high-end animals and
I do the feeders
because
I know it's really hard for people to get them. So it's like, dude, if I can
whatever
help,
you can provide them creates a convenience. You know, people are gonna be appreciative of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, always.
That's always good. So, but I don't know. At the same time, like, you talk about, because I know you on the internet, there's a lot of groups, like reptile groups, and there's a lot of. Do you agree with me if I were to say that the reptile industry is becoming more popular? Is it blowing up?
Oh yeah, it is.
It's like almost like before. I never heard anybody talk about reptiles. All of a sudden, people are saying, "Hey, I want to go to this convention. Hey, what do you know about bearded dragons?" Like, everyone wants a bearded dragon. Like, even regular people that don't care about reptiles, all of a sudden they want reptiles.
Want to get into it, right?
Is it strange
that
cool.
I don't think it's strange at all. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's really cool that people are becoming more informed about reptiles, and they're being able to you know, go and experience it at these events. Like, I know this last year we didn't have any events whatsoever for our reptile shows or
Yeah,
anything.
that is true.
But you know, people going to those, and that's kind of why I do park days too, to like provide that information to the public.
What is
like,
the park day like? What is it that you do when you?
So when we do park days, we were doing them when I first started. I had a lot more time. Obviously, I wasn't breeding as heavy, and I literally just wasn't breeding as heavy. So we had a lot more time. We'd go to the park, and we'd post on Instagram, hey, you know, myself and some buddies, we'll go and bring some retics and some ball pythons and, you know, iguanas or whatever we have that's awesome. Monitor lizards, my Argus monitors that I had, you know, and we just invite whoever wants to come by, take some pictures with them, you know, ask us some questions, and you know, just enjoy the fact that we have reptiles out there, exotic reptiles.
That's pretty rad. Yeah, I mean, when I saw you at the park, you guys were just chilling. You just, you know, had your
we had a couple kids that showed up. They really wanted pictures with us and everything, you know. So we have a lot of young supporters. Obviously, that's how we started. You know, you probably know a lot of the bigger top dogs in the reptile industry, and we watch their YouTube and all that.
You know,
so
that's another thing that's interesting about reptiles is that it's not only becoming popular in real life, in the real world. Pet shops are selling out like crazy, you know, and like reptile shops are selling out like crazy, but it's also happening online. There's dudes like the real Tarzan, and there's dudes like there's just so many dudes now talking about reptiles, Clint's reptiles, and Camp Cannon, and like there's all these videos, all these YouTubers now, sensational, like, you know, internet stars or whatever, right? And they're all focused on reptiles. I thought that was pretty awesome. That must mean that there's a whole group of people wanting to know what to feed a monitor or what to, you know what I mean? Like it's becoming like that's how popular it is.
Oh yeah.
To the point where you'll get like hundreds of millions of views on some of these videos. It's pretty crazy, you know?
Very insane to see that, because yeah, like you said before, it was not like that.
It was not like that
no,
at all.
it was a dead community, man. It was a very secretive community. Like
it was like nerds and like, you know?
It really was, man. We were nerds meeting up at a shop. Like, what kind of reptile did you get, man? Like,
but instead of trading Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you had different.
Dude, we had different colored bearded dragons back there. Leopard geckos. Like, oh, you have a what? Like, I'll trade you when I have babies for this. I'll trade you your babies for that. And then, dude, next thing you know, we had like all sorts of crazy colors. Dude, me and my buddies, man, we breed bearded dragons and leopard geckos. And that's why I keep saying that. Like no other. And I don't think we knew what we were doing, man. And if we did, we probably could have had something back then when it wasn't so popular, you know? But man, we were kids, and we had like, we had information from just shops that were just showing us love, man. It was great.
That's another thing about what I consider like these hobby type of businesses is that really you just like a little ass kid that never grew up. You know what I mean? Like you still want to play with lizards and you still want to like have these animals.
Man.
And,
I love getting dirty, bro. Yeah.
And people say that it's a lot different. Like this is something that I don't understand. I still don't understand it. But you know, people criticize reptiles. They're like, oh, like reptiles. Like people think lizards and they think, oh, fuck that lizard, and like let's whack it with a shoe. Or like people think that that reptiles are like roaches or rats or some like an unwanted animal. I feel like most regular people, or especially older people, perceive reptiles like snakes, and like they have no respect for them. You know what I mean? But lately, like when people talk about adopting a pet, right? Adopting a pet, adopting an animal.
Yeah.
If they're talking about adopting a reptile, most of the time people will say, like, but it's not the same as a dog. Like, you know, like, but it's like, yo, what are you talking about? A dog is way harder. Like, this fool needs your whole house as space. You know what I mean?
It can be, man.
And your dog needs your whole house. He sheds. You gotta walk him to take shit. Like, you gotta feed him at least once or twice a day. You know, like dogs eat more and do like they're way more requirement wise. It's more work to keep a dog than it is to keep a lizard or a snake.
Yeah.
Or, you know, unless you're talking about like a dog-sized lizard, you know. But besides that, you know, like smaller animals are typically gonna be easier to keep. But I wonder why people think it's so difficult, like the barrier to entry. You know what I mean?
You know what, with the barrier to entry when it comes to getting into reptiles, I really maybe the people I surround myself with are so into reptiles, I've kind of lost touch with that a little bit. And it's funny that you bring that up, but The entry to reptiles. Why would people be scared to get into it? I think people do have this idea that they're super hard to take care of, and I think that's because the community is a little harsh nowadays. I don't know if you see
That's
that
true.
in the group. They're
Yeah.
very harsh. So
That is definitely
that could
true.
definitely scare some
What kind of
people off, I
substrate is
think.
that, bro? Why would you even
Oh,
do that?
oh, dude, it's harsh, man. They don't, obviously right now we're going through like a cleansing with the reptile community. I don't know if you know what's going on, but there was some crazy there's some crazy stuff that happened, man, within the reptile community, and a lot of people were realizing that, hey, there has to be a change in the community. People need to start helping each other and whatnot, and that's kind of, I think, what's about to happen is a lot of those people who wanted to get into reptiles and are scared off because of those harsh, hobbyists. I think that's not going to be too much of a problem anymore, but I think that was the biggest problem for people trying to enter it.
Also,
because, like you said, it's
the
not...
science also is kind of like about it. Like the one, because this is how I got interested in reptiles. Like I was a little kid, I was like 14 years old, and I started working at a pet shop. First of all, I've always liked lizards because I went to Mexico pretty often when I was a kid, and I used to just catch these fools, catch big iguanas and stuff, and just play with them.
All right.
And I thought they were cool. When I lived in LA for like my whole youth, like in South Central mostly, there was a big pet shop in my area, and I went to go work at this pet shop on the weekends. It was a cool little place. I fed the fish and all these things, and I saw little kids get their fingers bit off by bearded dragons and things like this. It was funny working there. I got some experience, but lizards were always my thing. I was like, yeah, lizards are cool. Like those are the ones I wanted to collect.
All right.
So that's kind of how I got interested in reptiles at first, like keeping them wise, because I saw a little bit of the industry, like how people bought and sold and traded animals.
Let me ask you, before you got into it, did you do the research of how to get into it, or was it more like, one of kind of the common thing of, buying an animal and you're just like, I want it, excited in the moment, let me get it, and then do the research? Because I think that's what is scaring people off, is they don't do the research, and because of that, they're just going off the ideas, man.
Yeah. I think what happened was when I was interested in reptiles, that must have been like 2006, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really long time ago in pet shops, I think, especially pet shops in the hood. They're not going to give you no damn information. Half the time you walk into their pet shop and they don't keep the animals properly in there. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So you learn as you go along when you're kind of young, especially if you're young. And you should really be asking your mom, can I buy this iguana? You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't just be buying iguanas just because you think you can have one. You know what I mean?
I would literally do exactly that and bring them in. But my mom wouldn't even see the cage. I'd plan it so perfect, man. I would always have the enclosure. That was one thing about me, is like I always knew, like, all right, if I'm gonna take an animal, I have to prove to my mom that, like, hey, I can take care of it to its fullest, because I think that was her only excuse to me, was like, oh,
yeah,
how are you
really,
gonna
they
take
just
care of
don't
it?
want it in the house.
Oh yeah, you know it, yeah. But I was too young to understand that at the time, So to me, it was
trying to convince her.
Oh yeah, the convincing game was on point, man. It was almost on point.
So the reason why I bring that up is because, well, back then there wasn't that much information.
No.
But now reptiles have come a long way experience-wise in keeping them, like in captivity, and we also know more things about them in the wild that we didn't know. So even like 5 years ago, people were like, oh, savanna monitors, just give them rats, and then like recently they're like, well, savanna monitors, they're actually, they eat a lot of grubs when they're digging through the dirt, so maybe you should give them insects. And then some dudes are like, oh, their temperature's got to be 150 degrees, hot spot. And then some other dudes are like, yo, you're gonna cook them at 150, it's got to be 90, what are you doing 150, that's crazy, you know what I mean? So like all this dispute, I think, is natural. It's like the culture is like working out the kinks. You know what I mean?
It's exactly that.
Yeah,
And that's what it is, man. It's the studies. The studies don't stop. It's like they call medicine a practice, right? And it's a practice because you're always learning and evolving within the medical field. There's always something new to learn. Same thing with the reptiles, man. It's a practice. Anything you get into that's science related, or again with animals that again are literally from the wild, and we take and figure out how to bring into captivity and breed them in captivity, and that's how we get, when you say WC on an animal, it's wild caught. You see, CB, captive bred, or captive hatch.
Explain those categories to the viewers that might not know specifically anything about reptiles, because it's important for people to know, I think, like what is a wild caught animal? What is
So
you know?
yeah. So the categories we base all of our animals on are basically you have wild caught animals, you have captive hatch animals, you have captive bred, captive born animals. And let me break that down. Wild caught is going to be, you're in Tanzania and you want some sort of animal that's over there. You have an importer that will literally catch those and they ship them to whatever exporter importer gets them, and now you have them. And the problem with wild caught animals is most people don't know how to take care of them anymore.
But they came from the straight up like the
literally
bush
the
somewhere.
wild. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily the worst of the worst conditions, but you're obviously you have way higher odds of having that animal with parasites. You have higher odds of that animal, not being 100% healthy, and it's more than likely not gonna tame down. When you have a wild caught animal, it makes things a lot harder, man. But you have to start from wild caught, to get those captive breds and
To domesticate them, yeah.
to domesticate.
So
Right.
you're like a modern day, like you're domesticating an animal. I think reptile keepers are domesticating animals that people didn't think were capable of domestication. We've been having what, like look at scientifically speaking, look at the dog. Like the dog, we've domesticated for a long time now, right? But the dog is a carnivorous animal. Scavenger
By nature,
that is like really violent by nature and hunts, and we took it and we made him tame. You know what I mean? And the same thing with poultry and meat. Like we made birds that can't fly. We made pigs that get fat. Like we did that to these animals. Like that's domestication, right? So lizards, on the other hand, we've thought this whole time that they're just these crazy things that just like they'll just like little dinosaurs that'll bite you, but now we're learning that actually, like the one you have in your
like your skink. Yeah, this is his skink right here. Little dinosaur right here. I mean, dude, yeah, little dinosaur don't bite at all.
He's so chill. Yeah?
Dude, this guy's great. Yeah, this is a huge skink right here. Iron Jaya, right, man? And
yeah,
this Iron Jaya. Yeah, and man, this is.
So he's not obviously not a wild caught animal, but if he was a wild caught animal, then you wouldn't be able to really handle him like that. He would just be like afraid.
They're usually a lot more skittish. They're usually a lot more ready to bite. And defend themselves. And again, they're not used to being handled by humans.
They don't know what a human is. They're like, hey, yo, what are you doing?
They see us as, oh my God, that foot was in the way. That's what they remember in the wild. If you ever see skinks in the wild, man, they're actually crossing a lot of like gardens. And it's funny because I think they're probably scared of us. Like, skinks are usually pretty small. So this big species sees itself as like, holy crap, that's a foot. Like, let me get out the way. So captive bred, man, when they see a human, first thing they see is a human because, damn well we're sitting there like, like it just came out. And these things give live birth. So, oh my God, we're there. We're like, oh my gosh. So the first thing they see is a human. And I think automatically that probably helps. Like them like, what the hell is that? Oh, I've seen that before. I saw that when I was born, So that probably helps domesticating an animal quite a bit, especially with a reptile that, I want to say probably isn't as intellectual as a dog, a dog obviously.
Some reptiles are really smart.
Monitors,
monitors
and retics and reticulated pythons.
Even tegus lizards are really smart too. But to be honest, they're still not like mammalian smart. They're still kind of like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they still have instinctual acts. They're 100% instinctual. At the end of the day.
But wouldn't it be crazy? Imagine this. Imagine that people kept tegus for so long and kept breeding them for so long that eventually tegus became dogs. Like imagine you could train a tegu to like sit and go out for a walk and stuff.
Have you seen what people are doing with crocodiles and alligators, man?
Yeah, I've seen that. People doing with crocodiles, alligators.
It's happening, man. It's happening, man. Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Look at the tegus are gonna become dogs. We're gonna have like the monitors as cats, all right?
Rhino iguanas will be pit bulls.
Oh, rhino iguanas are pits all day. I agree with that. I literally just got 2 rhino iguanas, a breeding pair, and I've never been so happy to have iguanas, man. Oh
yeah, honestly, God. Like for all the things that you hear about iguanas, and for viewers that are watching that, typically you're not keeping iguanas, these things are usually like not friendly. You know what I mean? But rhino iguanas are way chill.
Pit bulls, bro. Like, all right, if you have a pit bull, like you already know these things are little pillows. They're not even, what everyone makes them out to be. They're like, oh, vicious pit bull, the shirts. And then you actually get your first pit bull, and you're like, oh, this thing's a gummy worm. Like, they're so great. And Oh man, I forgot where we were going with that. I was like thinking about the pit real quick.
I don't know what we were talking about. Oh, about domesticating animals.
To the point where they become dogs and whatnot. But yeah, dude, these rhino iguanas I got. Oh my god, man, they're beautiful. I'm gonna have to show them to you one of these days.
I have a rhino iguana now that I've been keeping since it was like a baby, like a fresh hatchling, which I don't think anyone should have actually sold it as such a small animal, but I've had it since it was so small, and they grow really slow. They're like the tortoises of lizards. I would think of it this way. They're
Iguanas?
like the rhino iguana specifically. Like they only
good.
eat vegetables, right? Just like a tortoise.
Very little protein.
Yeah.
Very,
So
very little protein.
they gotta eat a lot, and then, so I think their rate of growth is way slower, which is why they live to be like 80 years old, right?
You do see some pretty old iguanas, man. I've seen
Yeah.
some iguanas 40 years plus. So
Yeah.
man, that is pretty.
But the rhinos specifically,
Rhinos
it
are
goes
slow.
to like 80. Yeah, like
Very slow grows. And
Yeah.
they grow old. I think Tyler Nolan. I don't know if you know who that is on YouTube.
Yeah.
He
I've
does
seen
the
some of
tattoos.
his videos, yeah.
Yeah, dude, he has two. And honestly, man, when I saw his cage in the backyard, I'm literally doing that in my backyard. I have a tree with fruits, and and I'm literally gonna build the whole cage around it. And I'm doing the same thing with my redfoot tortoises. I think he has Aldabra tortoises, but I'm doing redfoots inside of there because I love my cherry head redfoots, and I'm putting my two rhinos in there, man. And that is like the coolest thing ever to me.
So,
like,
out of all the reptiles that you keep and breed and everything, right?
Mm.
Which do you like the most? Like, is it gonna be snakes or lizards or tortoises or geckos or
has to be lizards, man. It's gonna have
lizards?
to be lizards. Yeah.
Monitor lizards? Or
Not
or
necessarily
geckos?
monitor lizards, man. I'm a huge gecko guy. I can't believe it. I fell in love with the crested geckos. I tried leopard geckos, and someone was like, "Dude, what do you think of cresties?" And I was like, "A crestie? What is that?" And I got into this New Caledonian species, man. Crested geckos, lychees, gargoyle geckos, chihuahuas. All of those, and they definitely took my heart. But big lizards, man, like those rhino iguanas and like the Argus monitors. So I have a couple Argus monitors that are about to hatch actually pretty soon. And I'm keeping quite a few of those back as well because, man, I got scared off with monitors because I had to take one to the vet, man. And let me tell you, that was the most expensive thing I've ever seen with reptile-related anything. And
That's crazy. Yeah, tell us about that. Well, what was wrong with your monitor lizard that you had to go to the vet?
dude, my monitor lizard got like an infection in the foot from something that was in the cage. Something happened, and basically I had to take it to the vet. And they were like, "Oh, it's okay. Just wrap it with a bandage." And I did, and then it got infected, and I took it back, and it ended up becoming like a whole surgery thing, man, because his bone on one of his toes was getting infected. And
Lame.
oh, dude, it sucked, man. It sucks. My poor baby is. It scared me out of monitors, man, to the point where I found like a really good owner, and I was just like, "Dude, you got to take care of this guy. Like, I can't do these big monitors for right now. Like, I need to like have my mind straight for a second." And I'm like, dude, a couple weeks away from my monitors hatching, and I've never been more nervous because I'm prepared for it. I have the cages ready, enclosures, the food, all that. I've done monitors. It's not a crazy thing. It was just to see your own pet, like you were saying, man. They become dogs. To see
That's and the more animals you have, the more risk there is of potential. Just statistically speaking, some of them may die just from keeping so many, you know what I mean? And it has happened to me where I've bought certain animals and maybe they were not in the best shape and they have died on me before. Never really because of neglect or because I did something wrong, but just because the condition of the animal was already poor when I acquired it, kind of thing.
You and I actually both saw firsthand from one of the shipments. Yeah, dude, like, animals that aren't taken care of properly. You saw that. That was like, what, 24 hours we had those, the fire belly snakes?
Yeah, and that whole thing was hilarious, bro.
Man.
Let me.
Oh, my God, man.
Yo, remember, I ordered these animals from Underground Reptiles.
No.
And man, their customer service was terrible. Those fools were just straight assholes, bro. I had to like go and like, I went on their thing and I was like, "Hey, yo, like, you guys are assholes. Like, why didn't you do this and like, give me a refund, bro, or send me something else, like." They literally show like they're dead, you know what I mean? And they're like, no,
Oh.
And I was like, oh hell nah. So then I went on one of these reptile groups in Florida, and just to like be a dick, and I was like, yo, Underground Reptiles is whack, right? And everyone's like, yeah, bro, don't you already know that? Like, come on, bro. And this whole thing happened, and like. It's like any other subculture, right? Whether you do bikes or lizards or whatever you're into, there's gonna be some drama, you know, there's gonna be some funny stuff that goes on, and especially with reptiles, I feel like a lot of that kind of happens, you know, like we were saying,
There's a lot of
you
drama.
know, there's a lot of
reptiles.
people correcting other people for the way that they do things, and then there's always like sellers that are just like you said earlier, flipping, right? Just like buying and selling and trading
Dude,
stuff.
yeah.
And,
Oh my god, man. I've noticed. Yeah, that creates so much mess, man. It is so annoying, man.
yeah,
Like,
but it's funny, right? And like so, like this kind of stuff happens, and even the larger YouTuber guys kind of get into problems with a lot of the things that they post
oh
about.
well, I mean, dude,
Yeah.
when they're bigger, they're gonna be held to a higher standard, you
Exactly,
know.
yeah,
So
exactly.
of course, and
Mm.
you know, I have people holding me to a standard, and I'm not even that big yet, but I claimed, you know, hey, I'm gonna produce nothing but quality. And you know, it's great though. I love that people hold me to that standard, man, because it just makes me feel all the better about my animals. And they're just
Yeah.
like, hey, this, you know. And I have some of my buddies that own reptile shops, and they're just like, hey, you know, kind of get me back in line with certain things, and it's so dope, man. And honestly, it's usually me spreading myself too thin. You know how that can go into
Yeah.
business very easily. You can get into
Too much,
too much very too fast, man.
That's true. Yeah, so
And-
you got to stick with the works. What has
Your
worked for you in the
favorites.
past, and you know
Your
what you
favorites.
like. You know,
Yeah, man.
it's the same thing for me. Like I don't sell any bikes that I would ride. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
even I'm just not doing it. You know.
I wouldn't sell any animals. I wouldn't keep
Exactly,
myself, man.
yeah,
That's my new little thing. Yeah, man.
We're like small businesses, so I think we really can't afford to be spread out like that. You know, like people come to us because they want something different that they can't get at Petco or whatever. You know, people come to my bike shop not because
you're
I
not
have
getting
all the
that at-
bikes, but because I have what you can't get.
You're not gonna get at your
Target.
main retail store at
Yeah,
all,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right? Yeah, I've seen,
So,
dude. I
yeah.
went into your shop and I was just like, if you guys haven't been to a shop and if you guys are local, check it out. Those bikes are amazing. I don't know much about bikes, but just watching like this conversation with two customers and this guy talking about some crazy hill climber. What is it called when you a decline? I'm guessing. Do you guys have a name for that? Like
Descending
on
Yeah.
the bikes, like all fast he was talking about, and his chain was like, he was like, oh, the chain was so awesome or something. Like I was just like, whoa, this guy goes ham with his bike. So hey, go check him out if you haven't. That shit's pretty tight to hear some like new bike stuff, man.
Yeah, it's like anything, you
Oh,
know.
man.
It's
Yeah, it really
it's
is.
its own
Yeah.
thing, you know.
It's so interesting though. It's better though when someone's like really that passionate about it, because you know it's just that much cooler, man, to hear.
That's
their
why I go to you
conversations.
when I have
bro.
reptile questions, and you know, when I get reptiles
I
for the most
appreciate
part. You
you,
know what I mean?
sir.
Like I've gotten a bunch of
Ackies, yeah.
reptiles from you. Yeah, I got some Aki monitors from you. I got the spiny lizard from you. I got a blue tongue skink halmahera from you. Not that one, but
Not
another
this
one.
This is IHI, but this is blue tongue skink. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've gotten quite a few animals from you, and I've also sold you a bunch of stuff, and we traded and
Dude, the
all kinds of cool
cages.
stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So,
I think I
you
took
know.
like all the cages when you did your upgrade.
Yeah,
Because you have the most beautiful
It-
PVC upgrade, man.
The
But
technology changes every little once in a while, you know, just like everything. Like the newest thing that now is PVC enclosures, you know. Not that long ago it was melamine enclosures,
Oh my
and then before
gosh.
that it was
Melamine.
glass enclosures, you know.
yeah. Glass enclosures, man, will always be helpful. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
yeah,
that
yeah.
right now, man. I cannot believe how I thought glass enclosures when I was younger. I was like, I found out about customs, and I was just
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
these are gonna get thrown to the side, and I can't believe till this day I'm using glass enclosures because
I like them too. I think they work better and they last longer, like material wise, you know. Like it's glass, you know.
It doesn't
you're
work,
not gonna bust
right?
it. Yeah, but
Oh,
you
man.
know that's the only downside to the wood and the PVC and stuff, you know. Unfortunately, but yeah, dude, it's so chill. Like comparing different like what you call different types of hobbies like that, different things, and how very similar a lot of things could be, you know. Like
Oh,
you could be
very.
talking to anyone, and I think reptiles are gonna be the new biggest thing, you know what I mean?
Oh,
reptiles
they're
are
getting there.
getting crazy, you know?
Getting there, dude. Like,
And another thing that's really
Man.
interesting to me about keeping reptiles, one of the reasons why I justify, because a lot of people are always like, woo, like people that don't like keeping lizards or reptiles in general, they're like, oh, I just feel so bad watching you keep them all in a cage like that. Why don't you just let them all free? And like I get these kind of questions sometimes, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, yo, like if everyone that has captive bred animals released them all to the wild right now, not only would that be a bad idea, but some of those animals don't even exist in the wild anymore. You know
No,
what I mean?
no, they
Like if
don't.
it wasn't for people captive breeding and keeping these species
Dude,
alive,
My buddy is literally working on something right that with day geckos. Do you know what day geckos are?
yeah,
So
yeah.
you actually, dude, I got a day gecko from you
Yeah,
before,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I've had two
So
of them. Yeah.
so you know the electric ones though?
Yeah, the special. Yeah.
So there's a lot of those subspecies, man, and my friend is literally doing what you just said. Is he's saving them from extinction? There's literally less. I think he said less than like 10,000 in the wild left, or less than 1,000, and he's getting a breeding pair of these things. And guess what? You're able to breed them, and someone like him, you're able to actually send them back to the wild and start repopulating it. And without people like us who want to do that type of stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. Things can go extinct.
The zoos, they only care about like tigers and hippos. Like they don't care about tiny geckos and shit like this. You know what I mean? Like,
no, man. It's not commercial for them.
So if it wasn't for small time breeders, most of these species would already be extinct. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. Yeah, that is.
I think that's very interesting. Even the Rhino Iguana was like almost about to be extinct until dudes went over there, caught a few, bred them. And now sending the eggs back over and having them hatch out in fucking, island of Hispaniola, bringing rhino iguanas back in. So now, because of captive breeding, they're back. That's incredible.
Oh, no, that is super incredible.
And then we get the funny stuff. We get the opposite. Sometimes you can go too far. Like, too many people in Florida bought iguanas. And now, all of a sudden...
The iguana thing, man, yeah, that was insane. They blew up with iguanas. I think they have chameleons that...
They have wild chameleons. They have invasive
now, right?
iguanas, invasive chameleons, invasive tegus, anything you could think of, it's
pythons.
Invasive there.
Yeah,
Nile monitors, anything you could think of.
They do, but they also have a lot of... right now, where a lot of people are like trying to tell people to find USARK. You know what USARK is?
No, what's
USARK. So that's basically we all donate to them, and they help with our animal rights for us to keep, man. Literally, they help us, like, the laws that are going against reptiles, they fight for them on our side, right?
Because that is happening too, right? Like,
now they're literally trying to kick out tegus. They have, like, till 2004. I've been trying to update myself so much with this, man, recently, because I'm, like, realizing, like, holy crap, this is, like, a nationwide problem, like, for the community, and I didn't know how, like, tight the community was till recently, and I'm trying to, like, get more and more involved in it. But for the information I have gained is right now they're trying to kick out tegus entirely from Florida. And I have a buddy over there, a couple buddies over there that breed tegus for their livelihood.
Yeah,
so for
and
them,
pythons too, right?
And pythons, all that, man. And for them to tell them, hey, you have till 2004 to get rid of all your pets.
That's lame.
Yeah, it's like, dude, really, like honestly, like, fuck you for that one. Like, you can't tell someone to get rid of their pets. Like, dude, if they're invasive, okay, find some ways to, like, get rid of those problems and, like, make rules and make strict rules about it. Stop letting every dandelion person breed tegus, let the main breeders do it and let them do their thing. The ones who have proven that they can do it. In those areas, in the areas like Florida where things can thrive so easily. Here, Cali, dude, I'm sorry, if we let go of half of these species that we own, they will not thrive in California.
It's too dry out here.
Way too dry,
and too hot.
But Florida, man, that is like, dude, perfect for almost every damn species.
But recently, I read a report that said that tegus actually is one of the only lizards that if you accidentally let them out in California, would probably survive.
They probably would.
Like tegus iguanas won't.
Dude, tegus are tanks.
Yeah, but tegus might, just because they go into hibernation.
When you take it outside, man. When you take it outside, you take your tegus outside, right?
I let her out to walk.
They love it, right?
Yeah.
Imagine like a whole bunch the size of the one you have. Of those, they will thrive. I think in some parts of Cali where we have enough humidity, I think they would.
And so let's talk about because a lot of invasive species, like the idea of an invasive species is weird, like morally speaking, because. Usually people are against killing animals in general, right? Like people say, oh, don't harm nature, don't kill animals. Like all these like pro-PETA people are like, yeah, save the whatever, But that's all fine and dandy until you get an invasive species, like iguanas in Florida. So now there's dudes like the Iguana Man on YouTube that literally go out hunting iguanas, and they catch them and they cook them and they eat them. And there's people that go and catch tegus and just to euthanize them, and they catch chameleons, and a lot of these guys catch them and then sell them on the reptile market, right? Let's call it that. So that's happening a lot. Why is it okay to do that to an invasive animal like an iguana, but not a native animal? So who are we to say what is invasive and what is native? And why do we even, like, if the iguanas hang out in Florida for too long, like what exactly do they damage? You know what I mean? Who's are they taking other animals' food, like, or like, you know?
Well, yeah. At the end of the day, native species, obviously, they we didn't bring them here or anything. They are native here, or we found them here when we came over here or something, and they are thriving here. We probably don't have many of them, so we try not to take from our own backyards, essentially. Because if you do that, you're gonna have again every person in the hobby, grabbing your wild caught animals from your backyard because if you think a California king snake, a lot of those aren't allowed anymore, right? But they're allowed everywhere else because it's not in California. So when Fish and Wildlife has certain rules, man, certain rules they have applied that I agree with, such as native species, not being able to keep those, 100% I get it, man, because people will try to brand a native species and they'll run it dry. They will run it dry, man. We're at the end of the day, we are all hobbyists and we love our animals. But there is the business side behind it, and people will try to make that a business, and that's how we run our own species extinct. So on the native part, there's my answer to that. For iguanas and species that are actually overtaking Florida and all that, yes, it is taking the food from other animals. They're taking living space from other animals. They're literally messing up roads. I don't know if you've ever been to Florida, man, but the roads over there.
I kind of want to go just to check out the iguanas.
Dude, literally go. Oh, you'll see iguanas. I promise you. Go make a trip for Disney World because you will see iguanas. All right. So
I'd rather go to go see the iguanas. You not catch me in Disney World.
Look, right after you get off the plane, man, you will see an iguana. Like they are everywhere there, and you will notice right off the back is like. The streets are so messed up from them digging holes, man. You could literally go, if you go there, go for a week or something and go walk by the edge of a river, you will go find eggs. You will find holes.
They burrow and stuff, right? And they just make holes and crevices.
Yeah. They mess things up. So when they're, euthanizing them and at least not wasting them, they're freezing them for 30 days plus to get rid of parasites and feeding them to their own animals. If they eat that, great. If they eat it themselves, cool. At least it's not going to waste.
Yeah.
Burmese and Tegus, man. Tell me they're not eating and capable of eating your own backyard pet, dog, cat,
Yeah, and there's even wild Nile monitors and stuff like this, And they kind of, I heard that they're messing with the native crocodiles, the American crocodile, because Tegus eat eggs. So, crocodiles, they don't lay eggs very often. And so these Tegus are probably chomping up.
Oh, more than likely. I mean, I'm sure you fed your Tegu eggs before, right?
I feed the eggs all the time, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, of course, they're going to see those things and they're like, oh, thank you, Alligator isn't going to hear that little thing, creeping up and everything. It's just, they're like, I'll take one, I'll take two. You've seen how quick they swallow them.
Tegus are weird, dude. They
swallow them, too.
They're weird. They're that in-between animal. They're not like a super big predator, but they're also not like a small scavenger. They're like, they're weirdly in between, yeah.
Tell me they're not smart, man.
The way they walk, they're just like,
Tell me they're not prehistoric while still having a new era mindset.
Yeah, they're weird. They're one of the big, I think they're the biggest actual lizard, right? That can still drop its tail because like monitor lizards are not, they're considered like an old world species.
It's a Varanus.
Yeah,
Varanus
is an older
own species of, it's a monitor. Yeah. A monitor is
monitors are monitors. They're their own type of animal.
It's not a lizard.
But out of all the lizard species or actual lizards,
Tegu
was the biggest one, right?
Yes, Tegu, but I think they still consider them within the Varanid species, man, just because of the size of them and everything and the way their whole body structure is. But then again, as a lizard, it is the only one that can drop its tail. It's massive. In between. I like that.
It's massive,
It's an in between.
Dude, Tegus are crazy, dude. They eat everything too.
Dope,
they eat everything.
Literally.
There isn't anything that they won't eat. They're awesome.
Yeah, they are.
That's why I think they have a lot of potential to be trained like a dog because dogs eat everything too, just like that. And they act like dogs, in my opinion, in the wild. Not in captivity yet, but we might get there. You know
what? My buddy has a couple of dog houses inside of his house, man, and they sleep in there. He has like the heat lamp floating over the side of it, and dude, he has
the one that I have, this Tegu that I got, I acquired it because some person in Santa Monica, which had like a really nice apartment, that Tegu was free roaming the house. It was their dog, and he had a dog house. She had a dog house, and she would sleep in the dog house and walk around the whole house and just chill. And she had her UV light in there and stuff and her heat. It was really interesting. That's why she's so tame. And so these people, unfortunately, they had to they lost their place or whatever, and they were like, hey, we're just trying to give it away to someone who can take care of her. I was like, hey, shoot it.
All right, so that's the story behind it. Okay, so that's how
I got
you
that big
obtained her.
Tegu.
Yeah, dude,
I didn't do all the work to make her
gorgeous.
tame. She was already cool like
She's
that. I
gorgeous,
got lucky
man.
because Tegus, if you get them a certain size, it can be kind of douchebags.
Yeah, I had my red Tegu took a couple snaps at me. My big red Tegu I had, man. Yeah, he took more than one snap at me, man. Yeah.
That's another thing about keeping reptiles. Those things have weapons. They got claws,
Teeth,
spiny tails,
Yeah.
razor sharp teeth. Yeah.
Spiny tails, man. Tell me you haven't been cut up by that iguana, even if it's not trying to cut you up. That tail, man,
just
you rub it the wrong way.
Yeah, no, like it hit me a few times here and it just left like a line of like serrations.
Oh man, guys, you guys don't know. If you guys don't know already, these iguanas, man, they're insane. They're insane. You gotta
Just
love
covered
them.
in weapons.
They
bro.
are. They're little reptiles. Are little
I think the
weapons.
Mexican spiny tail iguana specifically, I think is the fastest lizard in the world. Is recorded to be the fastest moving lizard. Yeah, it has the fastest response, the fastest reaction time.
I wouldn't doubt it. Have you ever seen one? I'm sure you've been to Mexico, right?
Yeah, that's where I first saw iguanas ever, and I was like, how come they're not green? Because when I was a kid, I didn't know that there were different iguanas. In fact, most people I talk to, they see it, they're like, what is that thing? I was like, it's an iguana. They're like, that's not an iguana.
Iguanas are green. Yeah, everyone's answer. I know, everyone's answer. I'm like, you've never seen a red iguana? They're like, what? Albino one? They're like, who?
No,
I'm
albino,
like,
that's a whole different ballgame.
I'm like, what?
That's like, when I first got into reptiles, I was always like against the whole morph game. Like especially with like bearded dragons and leopard geckos, there were so many morphs and different colors and stuff, right? And at the whole time when I first started with the hobby, I was kind of against it because I was like, yo, to me, I don't care if I get a $20 leopard gecko or a $500 leopard gecko. To me, the animal's the same. You know what I mean? In my mind, this is my logic, right, for why I wouldn't care which one I had or whatever, right? But the more you play with the lizards, the more you collect, it starts to become a thing that you want. And it's not really because of the color. I think it represents the hard work put into making that specific animal, right? So now I look at an animal that's a different particular color, and it's like, well, like humans made that. You know what I mean? Like that could never happen in the wild. Like
putting on work to get these things, man. Some of these morphs, man. Like, I don't know if you saw the Brazilian rainbow boas I'm working on.
No, see, this is already that's what I'm talking about. All this Yu-Gi-Oh card talk, like, yeah, check out my Brazilian rainbow boa, or check out my tritanium Tegu.
Ah, man,
check out
dude, when those came out, man, oh my god, I could not believe how fast I grabbed those. I was like, titanium. I was like, what is that? I was like, let me have them all. Like, that was insane, man. That was insane.
The morphs for bearded dragons are crazy now. There's like leatherbacks and like a million colors.
Citrus, red, orange,
I think
name it yellow.
Is the python snake the one with the most morphs, or the boas?
I think ball pythons, man, have the most morphs. I don't think anything challenges a ball python when
off the top of your head. Like, how many names of ball pythons can you think of? Go.
All right, leopard pastel, leopard pied. I can go banana pied Mojave. I can go blue eye Lucy. I can go GHI Mojave clown. Butter pastel. Firefly, fire.
We could be here all day.
Oh, we could be here all day, man. If I start naming mine, all right, lesser, banana, coral glow. I mean, dude, when do you want me to stop, man? I'll keep naming them. Do you want me to get in just ball pythons?
Don't
or
forget
what?
normals.
Normals? Who? No, I'm joking. No. Oh man, no, I do have love for normals, man. You do need normals here and there. My new normal is F1, so first generation stuff is like.
What is F1? I'm new to. What is F1?
So when we say F1, that's just like first generation, like you brought it out of the wild and it came like that. So both of my rainbow boas are wild caught, and when you do bring wild caught animals in, usually it's for a project to bring in like new.
Yeah, sometimes it's required, right? Like in order to keep the bloodline like clean or whatever.
Clean, yeah. So you want to bring in new DNA, or you want to, not inbreed or anything. Then you got to hit that.
Too much inbreeding, you start getting deformities.
Oh, you'll get a lot. And some of these animals, like rainbow boas, who have neurological issues very easily. Yeah, you got to be very careful.
Well, I've actually I watched a few videos on YouTube, guys, like saying like, stop buying these pythons because they're
spiders.
Spiders because they lean to the side.
They have a
stuff.
wobble. Yeah, they tend to do that. I had one lemon blast, and that has spider in it. And oh my god, dude, she would like eat upside down. She would literally strike upside down. She was the healthiest ball python ever. But yeah, they do have that wobble. It is a neurological kind of off balance to their equilibrium, I guess.
Same as like albino iguanas can't really see as good as a normal iguana, right?
It's like the tegus too, man. Albino tegus, they tend to be a little bit more, we say, blind, so they're a little hard of seeing. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That sun, their skin.
Yeah, they're albinos.
The actual albinism, everything,
But the coolest ones for me are melanistic right now. I really like anything that's like black. I think that looks really sick. Like,
when an animal can get blacked out, I don't know why. That's been like the whole, and for me too, I'm not counting out of that either. That's like like you see,
we've been murdering out everything, bikes, cars.
Literally, yeah, murdering out. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, everything blacked out, dude. It just looks dope. Like it looks mean.
You can get a bootleg Komodo dragon if you just get an Asian water monitor and get a melanistic one.
Have you seen the black dragons right now? Those,
I mean, I don't even look at that kind of stuff because the price tag is like.
Oh, they're up there. Oh, they're up there.
So I don't even bother. I'm just like, nah, that's out of my range.
That's the funnest stuff, man. That's the funnest stuff. I'm telling you.
It's fun for you.
It's fun, bro, because you breed all these things, and then you're like, okay, you need a new challenge, man. Yeah, at some point, you need to reset yourself and like, okay, I want to be at square one. Let's start over. And and that's kind of when everything, when you saw, I don't know if you saw all my reptiles just completely do a 360, dude.
Recently,
360, yeah. What I have now is like permanently there, and I'm more than happy to say that on air or anything, because that's like, dude, there's been tons of people offering for all my animals, and I'm like, no, like they're stuck with me. You can get what I breed. And dude, that's what I've been into right now is what's the rarest of the rarest, and let me get that. Like I got the ruby red albino tegu from Tropical Exotics in Florida. Carlos, big shout out to him. But tell him to watch this. But yeah, man, that's what I was talking about too with USARC donating. We're all donating to help people like him right now and causes like that, so that he can actually continue to breed his tegus in Florida, because that is his livelihood. And I just want to throw that out there real quick.
Yeah, that's important.
Dude, literally, everyone's been donating. I've been donating when you ship a reptile. Dude, ship your reptiles?
Yeah.
You could literally donate every single time, a minimum of $1.50, like.
For their legal battles out there. Yeah.
Man, help us, guys. Look at the reptile world, man. Just like the dog world, you guys want to keep pit bulls, and you guys fought for that. That's us with reptiles right now. We're like fighting to keep our babies, man.
Or even people in the gun hobby, they got.
Oh, the gun hobby, you'll never take that away from us. California, Texas, we don't call 911. We welcome to LA. No.
Oh no.
Man, no.
No, just recently, it's the same thing's kind of been happening. Lots of regulation, trying to, do this and that, take people's guns away. They banned polymer A. That's out of topic or whatever. But
we'll talk about that another day. I'll come in here as not South Bay Reptiles so I can talk about that. But, man,
it sucks that that's happening to over regulations happening to everything these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's fucking
that's
annoying.
Weird.
Government just wants to put his hand where it doesn't belong half the time.
They're like, money? I'll take that. I'm like, no, you can't have that. They're like, we'll take it. We'll take it.
And there really is no reason. I want to think of what's a good. All right, why not ban iguanas? If you're gonna ban anything, why didn't they go for iguanas first? You know what I mean? If it was that much of a big deal and they really want to help the environment and all this stuff.
Straight up.
You know what I mean?
I can't argue that. I cannot argue
that,
there
are guys out there that breed iguanas.
Iguana.
Thai part.
Oh, yeah. You see, but he doesn't do, green iguanas and he's letting out into the wild, You've seen these iguanas. The fact that you know who that is, bro. Come on. His iguanas are, next to none, bro.
Yeah, I know, the best in the world. But you think about someone like that who has basically an iguana zoo at this point. He has stuff that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. And so even if they did ban iguanas, it would make more sense to ban iguanas and give that dude a hard time because of the invasive species problem. But tegus, there's just not that many there. I don't understand why they're going after tegus. What's the big deal there?
I haven't kept up with that one too much. As far as that, I think there's an overpopulation of them in Florida, and like you said, they're just eating alligator eggs, and they're also taking over. Because dude, you got to remember, I almost thought I was holding a tegu. You got to remember, man, tegus, like you said, they'll eat anything.
Yeah.
They see a snake in their way, man. they'll die trying to eat that thing.
There's a lot of python invasion stuff too, and boa invasion there too, right? Like big snakes.
Burmese python invasion. Yeah, they have a lot of Burmese problems over there. Yeah, man.
They get the worms.
But I get you. Banning iguana would have made more sense, you know. If anything at all. But again, it's so much easier to just have more regulations. I hate to say it, but throw more regulations on top and make it stricter to the point where it's like, hey, if you're gonna,
it should be where you required like for example,
a permit or
exactly. Like if you want to be a breeder of this animal, you need to get this permit, right? Then why not do something like that? You know, why ban it altogether?
People
you know,
don't want to follow the rules and get the permits, and it's like, dude, like,
but
you know,
if people aren't gonna follow the rules and get the permits, what makes them think they're gonna follow the rules and not breed them after they ban them? You know what I mean?
And,
it's still gonna happen regardless, and in fact, it's
yeah.
gonna be worse. Because it's going to be even more low-key, just like when they tried to ban alcohol, and then everyone just started bootlegging. And then they try, you know, are you really going to try and ban weed? You know,
dude,
everyone's going to get high anyway,
we're
you know?
Americans.
Yeah.
We're going to get what we want, man. Yeah, at the end of the day, you know, America said you're a free country. We made sure that, you know, at the end of the day, we're like, all right, don't give it to us. Make the law. Black market.
You know, there's more tigers in backyards in Texas than in the actual wild.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, man. Can you believe that?
That's wild.
That is insane. And wait, it's actually not wild. It's captive bred. But oh man, that's funny.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm messing around. I'm just throwing one. Yeah.
Tigers, you know, and that's just tigers,
that
bro.
Is crazy.
You know?
I kind of do want one. And a monkey. What?
No, I have a baby now, so I can't have like too crazy of a collection, or you know, too.
Yeah, this guy. If you could have a Mexican beaded, you probably would, huh?
If I didn't have a baby, I would have a Mexican beaded lizard, or any one of the. Dude, it's the only North American lizard that's venomous.
It's pretty badass.
It's badass.
They are badass, dude.
Like,
my buddy
I've
just
always
got
wanted
scraped
one.
by one today on its tooth. We were holding them, and he got scraped, and immediately, man, it's like red. And then it's like swollen. I'm like, you're right.
Explain to the viewers what is a beaded lizard.
A Mexican beaded lizard is one of our only next to the Gila monster. They're very similar in species, but not. It's from Mexico. A Mexican beaded lizard, hence the name, and it's a venomous lizard. And these things are legal to keep here, so you can keep them without a permit. You know, you can actually find them very readily available in the pet trade, in the reptile pet trade. And it won't kill you, the venom, but you're gonna go through some excruciating pain. And my buddy today took a little nick on the finger from one of the teeth, and they have to really chomp down to be able to, you know, give you a full dose of venom. And it didn't.
But they're actually venomous, though, right?
They are actually venomous. They do have venom glands. They do create venom.
We'll pull up a picture for
Peladerma. There you go, man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They just look so dope.
They are really cool, man. So if you see,
to me, the Mexican beaded lizard is like,
it looks like my baby right there.
It's like the American monitor. That's how I see them.
It is our monitor. It's our monitor.
I've always been like, lately I've been wanting to gear myself more towards American species and less African or Asian type of animals.
Okay.
I want to have mostly North American or just American, South American, North American animals. So like Mexican iguanas and Tegus or South American, Central American like animals. I want to have like. So if I had it my way, that's how I would do it, and I would have Mexican beaded lizards or helodermas, and then I would also get dude, there's this lizard I want to show you. You can tell me what you think about this lizard.
Can everyone see this?
Yeah. It's pulled up.
So cool.
So I have a dream of getting this lizard, the Defensor.
It's an iguana.
Yeah.
Miniature spiny iguana.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like a small. To me,
there it is. Yep.
When I think of the Defensor lizard, check this one out.
Yucatan spiny-tailed. Sedensaurus defensor. It's like yours, man, but smaller. They're one of the smallest species of iguanas.
But look at their tail. And they're herbivorous. Tell me it doesn't look like an American Eurymastix.
It literally looks like a Eurymastix bred with an iguana, with a spiny tail iguana, and came back. Believe this or not, man. Ready for this? When I was little, I did a trade with an Argus monitor, man, that I had because, again, I had monitors all the time at home, and my mom was not having it. And I got two of these guys somehow, some way. I didn't know what the hell they were, dude, and I ended up trading them to a reptile store here locally, and dude, I never saw them again. And recently I found out how rare these guys are, and like, holy crap, you can't even get them, you know?
Yeah.
And I was just like in awe, like, I actually own these. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Josh?
I'm trying to get some of these.
Dude, you find them, you let me know, because then I might have to grab a pair of those, because those are, dude,
another one that I've been mentioning to you over and over is the Chuckwalla.
Chuckwallas, yes, you have. Yeah,
because the Chuckwalla is from here, Mojave Desert, California,
I see
Arizona.
them every time I go to Silverwood Lake, man. I see them over there on my hikes.
If someone had, they do exist captive bred, but they're just really hard to come by. But look at these things; they're cool.
They are.
You know?
They're chunky little tank lizard, man.
Herbivorous, and they're from here, so you know. They're really awesome, and they're really rare too. I would like to participate in breeding them. You know, that'd be really awesome.
And you're on the Facebook groups, right?
Yeah,
Dude, just literally post a picture of it and just be like, "Yeah, I'm looking for this, man." That's how I find things too sometimes, dude. Like,
I might have to do that.
My Melanus monitor, man.
When I get money.
Yeah, obviously, you know, when you do that, everything with good timing, everything all the time.
Because I could post right now, but then my pocket's dry right now.
They're gonna be like, "Did you want to get one?" You're like, "Nah, I just wanted to make sure I could get one." They're like, you get them with the whole shipping label and everything. They're like, all right, so you're ready? You're like, nah.
Nah, not yet.
Nah, I'm good. Thanks,
bro.
man. Oh, man. Dude, you want to see the Mexican beaded? 2 variations of it?
Yeah, do you have a picture
Go
of
on
it?
my Instagram. I literally just posted it before I came here. Just go on SBR Josh, not on the other one. The SBR Josh is way more lit, man. Like, that's my personal page. So you see the SBR Reptiles? Nah, that one's whack. The SBR Josh, that one's dope, man. I use this one like no other, man. Oh, okay.
This is my bike shop page.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. All right, I got you here. We got to follow back right now. I got you, man. Fuse Workshop.
Yeah, it's always hard to manage multiple Instagrams.
Dude, super hard here.
Dude, let's check out some of your work. We'll show some of your work.
Video right there, that first one.
This one?
That one, go.
Is this the Gila monster?
No. The Gila monsters aren't legal here, but Mexican beaded lizards
Mexican beaded
are.
is cool.
So that is a Mexican beaded right there, man. So that is a big female we have right there. That's my buddy Alec Najarian. He's the one who took the little nip to the hand, and then that's the baby, my baby right there. So that's his female he just took. I had that one in my shop, so he just took that today. And
you think it would be safe to have one if I had a baby, if I locked it up? Put a big fat lock on that bitch?
I'm not going to be the person to answer that, bro.
Damn,
just
I want
because
one
I don't want to be the reason that you say, yeah, he said, yeah, get one,
Josh
you know.
said it would be cool,
yeah, Josh
bro.
said it would be cool. It wasn't my fault you got bit, babe. Oh, man, nah, dude. I probably wouldn't, man. I wouldn't keep one at home.
No, if I had a whole shop like you do, maybe I would.
It's a lot easier. Watch that second video, too, man. We just had the photographer come in and do all the pictures.
So you have a photographer work with you
and
do some of this stuff?
We do all that. I mean, yeah, I like the professional photography stuff. And then as far as the videography edits, like this editing you see, I do that. She does the photography because, you know, God knows that takes skill. But videography, you know, TikTok and Instagram, they've made it very easy to edit these things. So,
yeah,
you know, it's really cool to be able to do this stuff.
Yeah, we live in the future, bro.
But those are the Brazilian rainbow bows I was just talking about too, man. I mean, those are literally part of my projects. Those come from my F1s. I picked out basically 2 wildcaughts. If you see the pattern, you see how it connects on the crescents right there, a little bit to the left. Those 2 connecting.
Right here, yeah.
So that has to do with you know how the parents' visual patterns were. I handpicked these 2 wild-caught rainbow boas for specific reasons geared towards, you know, the project that I'm working on. And in due time, like about a year or 2 or 3 years, this is going to be a very extensive project. You know, everyone will see what I'm talking about, but unfortunately, that's not something I could really.
People don't realize like how long these projects can be. You know, like when you're working on this kind of stuff.
Man, this is why people get offended when people offer certain really low prices. It's like, man, I can't. Like, I just spent the past 4 or 5 years working on a project. You know, it's like I literally cannot. I have invested way too much time and money to say okay to that.
Oh, you have some Abronias?
Yeah, I have Arbonia Gramini. I have a 1.1 pair available right now. I haven't posted them yet on Morph Market, but they're available. This is the same pair that's available.
If I had it my way, I would get some of these too. Just
dude, you let me know, bro. I have that exact pair
because
available.
They're Mexican.
Hey, dude, on that one, bro, literally, like, I have Mexican black king snakes right now. I have Mexican red tail indigos. I have the Mexican alligator lizards. I like you said, the North American, like, just getting into any of that, like, awesome our own species is pretty badass.
Too many African species already.
Like what's up with our own species? Like, 100% agree agreed on that. But look, yeah, just these guys alone,
sick.
they're awesome. The gargoyles, that goes back to New Caledonia. That's just my addiction. And then you have
Yeah, I know you have a lot of I personally I can't manage like you can see my collection is all like kind of an easy collection. Most of my animals are easy to more or less they easy to feed,
you pick
easy
them
to keep.
very well
yeah.
to make yourself an easier schedule.
These animals like I feel are takes a little bit more like finesse, a little bit more effort.
It's in depth.
Humidity levels are higher, and
the gargs kill me, man. Look, even to someone like myself, I know people think like, oh, he breeds, he has a facility, like he makes it look so easy, like bro.
It's still hard, yeah.
It is hard, man. When you have a gecko that only needs 4 degrees hotter than the same other species that comes from the same New Caledonian island, it's like, why do you have to be 4 degrees hotter? If not, you don't breed right, you get RI or this and that, and it's like, oh my god, that's the Leachianus gecko. Yeah, everyone knows what those are right now. The world's biggest geckos, Leachy geckos.
They were not even known until recently, and now they're everywhere. Yeah,
they were found quite a while ago, actually, and until recently, like you just said, they are barely getting known, but now they just blew up immediately. Yeah, and these things are, I mean, dude, have you seen the range on them? Have you seen the range on price on these guys?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
You could almost get a car with one of these. It is insane.
They're pretty sick animals though. Beautiful. They're very chill.
Beautiful. Beautiful animals.
They like if I didn't like the only animal I keep right now that is like a high humidity animal is I have a monkey tail skink, a Solomon Island skink.
That's right. How's she doing? How's she doing, by the way?
Really chill. I'm looking to get a male so I can have some live birth or something, I think it's bad to keep them alone,
I think skinks and monkey tail skinks, and I think a lot of arboreal species, man, tend to be very communal, man.
Yeah.
Like
I'm looking to get if someone that has a male, I got a big female.
I can definitely get you a male, but if you want to do a project, I'll talk to my buddies.
I'm open to projects.
Always, man.
So damn, pretty sick pictures here.
Thank you, man. Yeah,
is this a
Melanus monitor? So that's a quince monitor.
Quince.
Quince monitor. Everyone knows the name quince right now, but Melanus, Varanus melanus is what they are. I've been working on that female, man, dude, for a little under a year, man, and she was tiny when I got her, like 6-7 inches. She's doing like 14-16 inches right now, and she eats on my shoulder. I think I posted a video of her eating on my shoulder. I was so happy. I was like insanely excited.
You call her Nips?
Yeah, dude, she bit my ear once.
Nipsey Hussle?
Oh, dude, rest in peace, man. Oh, there it is. There's a video right there of her eating on my shoulder right there to the left. So yeah, dude, that little one, it took forever to get it to that point, to trust you and to eat on your shoulder off of tongs, man. Let me tell you.
Dude, remember that Velociraptor I gave you?
Which one?
The Nile monitor.
Oh my gosh, dude! Literally, I got over there, and the first thing he did was latch onto my finger. It immediately got me. I was just like, "Wow!" Like, you stereotype a little Nile monitor. Like, why do you have to be like that? Like,
that thing was crazy.
I literally trusted him so much. I'll never forget that. I got him because we were having a hard time with him here. Remember the gloves I used and everything? Yeah. And he seemed so calm. And I was like, oh, maybe you're not. Maybe you were just upset. It's cool now, Boom, finger. I was like, why? Like, can you just not be like that? Like,
yeah, you can't trust him like you do other lizards. No way.
See that snake right there, man? That really
right here?
That is probably one of two. And I keep saying this, and people keep asking, what's the number 2? And I don't post it because I don't know. It's such a hype. I'm like waiting for a moment, I guess, to post them. But that's a Ridley eye. That's a Ridley eye Asian cave dweller. And dude, I think I'm like like a handful of people who actually have adults in the United States. Like, there is not that many people with them. I know someone with a female. I'm desperately trying to do a project so we can create some more captive breds of these. There's very few people. I think there's a total of like 3 or less than 10 breeders in the United States, man, for these. So me having one is a step closer to that.
You like using these things here as hides, the logs?
The corks? Yeah. Oh, corks. I love cork, man. I don't know if you've ever seen, man, but I order like 300, 400, 500 pounds of cork at a time, and I should
probably get some of that stuff.
Oh, you let me know, man. Yeah, no, I use that stuff.
They look cozy in there,
Oh, they do. Oh, they love it. Everything loves cork, man. It holds humidity well. When they're shedding, they're able to grab onto it. Those are the rainbow boas to the left, live birth right there, man. And then, so that's when they came out. Not the cutest scene, like I said, but, they come out in little embryonic fluid sacs, and you wait for them to pop out as you see some of them pop out.
I can see why people get a little freaked out by reptiles. Just the way that they move, and you hand a lady a snake. Is that a typical reaction to reptiles?
It could be.
But then again, if a dog gave birth, it would look kind of the same. You know what I mean?
It does.
Dogs are ugly as hell when they're born.
People forget that. People forget that when you see a dog being born. Yeah, man. It's you have all that embryonic fluid everywhere.
It's
And there's little Tuna, my baby, right there, man. That big old snake. Oh, there's me when I was little to the left, right there, with the cast on.
That's you?
That's me, dude. That is literally me from Reptile Finders 2008 with an Argus monitor right there. Literally a Varanus panoptes, and that's what I breed now. That's the only monitor that I actually
That's crazy.
really love, man. And ever since I saw that monitor right there, I fell in love with it. Literally, I think it was 2 years after that, 2010, man, I got my first monitor, and it was a Varanus panoptes. And I had an Argus monitor, man, and you see me up there smiling with it on my head, too. That's Littlefoot on my head. And
so you have shopped and hung out with the guys from Reptile Finders. Is a pet shop over in PCH, right?
PCH and I think Walnut or something. Yeah, but that was the only shop I knew when I was little, man.
And now you hang out a lot with a dude JTK Reptiles too, right?
Reptiles
which is in Long Beach, right?
Yeah, he's in Long Beach.
Yeah, I've been there a few times, bought a few things from him here and there.
He's helped me out a lot when it comes to helping me with, hey, this species is pretty cool, or how to do this type of species. I was super afraid to put my monitors together, man, when they bred. So yeah, no, I've met some very cool people in the interesting. JTK Reptiles being one. J Prehistoric, I got to talk with him.
J Prehistoric is that guy really popular on YouTube right now,
oh,
right?
Yeah, super popular. You'll see him all over Facebook. Yeah, and dude, I love going to this place. I went not too long ago with my buddy, the Reptile Don. Everyone knows, Haroon, right?
Yeah.
So he's always on my page helping me, and he was working for me and helping me as well at a point in time, man, where I did take too many species on, and I could not do it by myself. And, he was helping me with that because, again, you can spread yourself very thin, very easily.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And this is what I was talking about. There it is.
Yeah, that's why I pulled it up.
Yeah, man. It's literally that one for South Carolina right there. They are literally, at that time, they were less than 24 hours away from getting the ban. I need to go update myself and see what happened with that, man. But Nerd, Kevin McCurley from Nerd, and all these big guys, man, Carlos, everyone from Tropical Exotics, everyone was posting, like, go donate to USARC, go donate, and all these crazy ways to help fund us being able to keep our animals, man.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. I never thought I was gonna have to donate to. I almost feel like I'm like I have to donate because, like, dude, I do, and I always have, and I always will. But now more than ever, I feel like I have to, just because I provide the community with reptiles. So why wouldn't I be one who has to fight for our rights?
You gotta. Once you're in the industry, you are the industry.
You are, dude. It's a crazy standard you're held to, man. It is a crazy standard. Let me tell you, man. I've had my fair share of people checking me and like, hey, that's not right, and it's crazy, man, to see that.
I've kept lizards for my whole life, but when I moved to San Francisco, that place is not really a place where you can have too many pets and stuff like that. So I kind of didn't have any reptiles when I lived up there.
Cool snakes up there, though.
So when I came back down is when I recently got back into the hobby, and I was checking out all these reptile shops. I've checked out another place called Reptile Island in Stanton.
Really cool people.
Yeah, I checked out a few other places. So I kind of got to meet a lot of the guys that are in the area, JTK and Reptile Finders, and I bought little things from everywhere. You know what I mean? So I got around when it comes to the reptile stuff, so I kind of get an idea of what people have and what they sell and what people are buying and stuff.
Let me ask you something. You've bought from me a private breeder, right?
Yeah.
I am like, I try to make myself like an exclusive breeder, I guess, right? I handpick these animals, and I make sure they live up to quality and expectation, right? And if not, I put my name on it, And what do you think when there's a difference between reptile shops and private breeders? Because right now I'm seeing private breeders going up, man. And private breeders are like the new way of
This is the way that private breeders are going to become the thing. This is my opinion, my honest opinion on your business. And don't, I'm not an expert, so don't listen to what I'm saying 100%. Just think of me as a consumer. You know what I mean?
100%.
So, like, from a consumer standpoint, when I think about reptiles and, like, buying and the prices and all this, there's one advantage that the shop will always have over the reptile breeder, and that is that they keep the price low. And how they do that is not always good. Like, you look at how they keep the animals. typically a pet shop is moving things very quickly, and they don't have time to really put
individual attention.
Exactly. So a lot of these animals can go neglected, and it's not their fault. It's just that their scale is much bigger. They're dealing with a lot of
larger
in-person customers, people actually coming into their store. You have
to deal with customers and animals.
So both of those things. So that's a little bit different. Their quality is not going to be as good though. So for the guys that are looking for quality, they're going to the breeders like you, who are specific towards whatever they're doing, right? They're like a specialist. I would call you a specialist, on whatever species you like to breed and stuff like this, right? Now, there are some pet shops, though, that are both of those things, like JTK Reptiles.
All of them.
He's a specialist, and at the same time, he has a storefront. So I think that is really smart, and that's one way to go. I think the other way to go is to be a breeder, but to have competitive prices. So be a low-key breeder that doesn't have its doors open to the public, but provide the same features that some of the stores have. So have the feeders, have the insects, have the accessories and the wall plugs and the lighting and you can have some of that stuff. Not too much, of course, because it's not your focus.
Right.
But then your animals, you're able to breed them and you're able to have them for a reasonable price and they're better quality. There'll be no reason to go anywhere else from that point on. People are just gonna go straight to the breeder, cut out the middleman. You know what I mean? And you can ship them out to anywhere.
Literally, I have animals all over the United States.
It's happening already. People are going online. They're buying animals from wherever they can find them. Whoever's breeding them, and they'll get these animals. And they don't want to go driving around all these pet shops anymore, trying to find it anymore. It's just not. It's just they just don't have this stuff anymore. You know what I mean? They're not carrying anything special.
This time of day too.
You're not gonna find any weird reptiles in these pets. I mean, once in a while you'll see some one-off stuff, and you're like, hey, what is that? And you might get a good deal on it.
Sure.
But for the most part, it's just bearded dragons and the same old. You know what I mean? And people got bored of it already. People moved on. People want high-end reptiles. They want cool stuff. That same old got people got tired of it. Like the same, especially the one thing that bothers me, I think, is how easy it is to get some of these animals that are crazy. Like you could just get a green iguana anywhere, and those things turn into monsters. They
do.
You could get a Nile monitor anywhere, and those things turn into velociraptors. You can get a savannah monitor anywhere for cheap. You can spend less on the animal than all the supplies you need to keep the fucking thing.
It shouldn't be like that, man.
It should not be like that,
That's I agree with you on that, because if they raise those prices, that would be the deterrent for people getting these species that we can't keep, man.
Exactly. It doesn't even. It's not even worth it. Like, are you gonna spend $50 on mice a week to keep a lizard that you're gonna sell for $50? It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I can't argue with that one, man. Not at all. Back to the insects and feeders, man, and having all those small items. That was an interesting topic. I try to do that, and I'm trying to do that more again. You saw the insects. I'm super floppy with that one. I'll be on and off with that. The rodents, I finally nailed down with frozen rodents, and then the light bulbs and all that too. But you being, someone that's shopped with me too, what are some things that you would like to actually see in my shop, man? Like what's some new stuff that, besides species, because I'm very capped out on what species I'm breeding. Like, what are some, accessories that you expect to see from someone that isn't a storefront, but likes to provide everything for those species?
Yeah, if you got a plug on enclosures, like maybe if you had not, because enclosures take up a lot of space and that's really annoying about them, but like let's say you had on deck like a few enclosures. Even if you sold used enclosures that are reusable, or if you sold brand new like PVC enclosures, which are getting really popular right now.
Is that something you think I should do? Because I can make a space and carry 3-4 PVC enclosures.
3-4, start small, and then see where it goes. Yeah,
exactly.
If you slang 2 or 3, and then you're like, hey, and it breaks you off, and just keep going. Most of the time when I walk into the pet stores, what I do notice is people are coming in for insects like crazy, though. Insects are selling like crazy.
It's a huge thing. Yeah.
It's a huge thing.
That is probably, I'm not even going to lie to you, man, that's your biggest profit is insects. It's not that you make a lot because you feed a lot, but I think...
Yeah, and that it costs you to feed your animals if you're not... Like, you're going to have to buy them from somewhere, you know what I mean? So, like, at the same time, you do kind of save some money if you just breed them, not even to sell them, Just to feed your animals, just to feed your animals.
Yeah,
so that's important.
Dubia roaches, you've seen I used to sell those like crazy, and I had to cut it off to the point where my animals eat so much I can't even breed enough for myself anymore, man. So it's like, whoa.
That's
like,
another thing. No, it's all difficult parts of the game, you know. But yeah, little things like that. I think that's what people are consuming the most.
Yeah,
people buying an animal, and then what's all the things that come with the animal, right?
Feeding it and lighting and
enclosure, all that stuff.
And it's always something you're gonna need for your animals.
You've already got the cork, you've already got the substrate, you've already got all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I do have Pro Coco. That's right.
So you
I
don't need any of that
Coco.
stuff. Yeah.
All right. So to your expectations, you know, living up. To
yeah,
standard.
I go to
the cages.
You,
I need the cages.
I go to you for what you have, you know. So I think you know that
means a lot.
And that's what people are gonna really focus. I think the little stuff not that important. You know what I mean? But you know, obviously, we go to you to get. You recently had some when last time I was in your shop, some cool ass black throat monitors.
Oh yeah, I have 2 more. Dude, those black throats, man, those things are crazy.
Yeah, you have a picture of them here?
Ooh, do I scroll down? Let's see. Do I have a video of them? It might be.
Nah, why you have so many damn Instagrams too? Like every time I'm looking through your...
so I only have 2, but I have.
Do you get taken down for animal stuff?
Dude, I don't even know why. They don't even give me a reason for taking me down anymore. No,
the last account you had like a whole grip of followers.
It had everything, man. And I had like 4.8K followers. They just... I don't know why, man. I don't know why. It's on the IGTV. That's what it is. You have to go up to the IGTV. I don't know
how the hell
go
do
up.
you do that?
Scroll up. Watch this. Scroll down just a little bit. You see where it says IGTV?
Oh, here we go.
Hey, you see the black throats right there? It says black throat monitors. Bam.
Dude, if I had all the space in the world, I'd get one of these bad boys too.
That's why I needed it, man. I needed the space because I can't hold myself back from getting certain animals, man, because I just
those things. They just get enormous. You know what I mean? It's like
fast, man.
What's a full-grown black throat look like?
You can easily see 6 foot to 10 foot with its long tail, man. You can easily see like 8 foot with its big old tail, dude. It's insane. These things get big and they got a chunky head and a body on them, man. Yeah, there you go.
Is that Jackie Chan? Jackie Chan owns a black throat monitor, yo. Oh. That's wild. I didn't know that. Celebrities and their pets. Yo, for real. Did you know that? I guess
so. I did not know that.
Yo, Jackie Chan owns a black throat monitor.
Well, there we go, man.
Yo, Jackie Chan is wildin'.
Everyone needs a black throat now. No, I'm joking. No. Please don't. Oh my gosh,
look
guys,
at this
black
dude
throats are insane.
Sleeping with his lizard. Like,
yeah, that guy is well known, man. I think that guy was the start of the fact that black throats could become puppies, because that guy has his puppy dog tame, man. Look at the doctor.
Yo, what is up with that one? Look at that thing.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Obviously, I'd probably call that a little bit obese. You see the stomach on that thing, but
I see the gut.
And it's super common with monitors, man. Obesity with monitors.
They have a high appetite. They're motivated.
People will give it to them, and they'll give it to them, and it's like, you know,
they don't need to be eating that much.
The guy holding it,
where?
To the left, right there. Bam. Check that out, man. With a little doghouse outside and everything.
That
dog
thing's
bowl.
massive.
Beautiful too, man. He's kept that thing in impeccable shape. I mean, dude, look at that. That's beautiful.
You know.
Wow. Now
I'm not that much into monitors, TBH. But I did get these little Akis from you. I'm happy with those things.
I wish I would have kept more, man. I really do. I only have one for myself, and I should have kept like 5 or 6 of these.
I'm afraid they're gonna eat each other.
Akis?
They're crazy. Yeah, they'd be like doing crazy stuff.
Man, as long as you keep them well fed, throw some like literally like boiled egg, like the shell
I've been doing that.
Oh, dude, they go ham on that. As long as you keep them fed, they get bored. That's it. Yeah.
They're picky too. I gotta be
monitors
mindful what I eat them, what I feed them. I mean,
I knew it.
Tripping, dude. Now I know Jackie Chan has a lizards.
That's crazy. Monitors of that, dude.
Yeah.
Monitors.
That's so weird.
That's a trip. That is.
Yeah,
a trip.
dude. But all of these different species coming out, you know, all this cool stuff coming out. It's really awesome. Like, it's really taking the sport. I feel it like a sport in a way, you know, like a hobby, like a sport.
Oh, it is a hobby and a sport. Yeah, I get you.
Just because I come from bikes, you know, so I think of the similar. You know, I'm a specialist too when it comes to bicycles. Like, 100%. I only deal with particular higher quality bikes instead of like the stuff that you see at Walmart or Target or even other bike shops. You know,
Quality,
they all
quality.
can do all of that. You know, I focus on the stuff that people don't have already. So it's kind of the same thing what you do in a way. Who are next time you come on the podcast, bro? We gotta do. You said you had
I have quite a few buddies
some
I could bring
homies
on, man.
that could
Yeah,
come on.
I could bring on like
Reptile homies in the South Bay. There's I remember you said the Reptile Don.
the Reptile Don, the
the
Snake,
Snake
Father.
Father,
I
yeah.
could bring him on. I mean, I'll talk to a couple of my
Hey,
buddies.
shout him
honestly.
out right now so they can come on later.
All right, check it. So the Snake Father, if you guys go follow him, watch. If you go on my followers or anything, just type in the Snake Father. He'll pop up. Give him a follow. I'll bring him through. I'll see if he can make it. The Reptile Don as well. He's probably tagged through a whole bunch of my stuff as well. We'll bring him on, guys. Big shout out to both of them. They've been with me since day one, since I started the brand South Bay Reptiles, man. And Claudius is like my retic whisperer, and Haroon is my my chameleon whisperer, man. So I'm telling you, man, great guys. I will bring them on one of these days, and we'll do like a triple sesh, you know. And
yeah, that would be
and
fun.
we'll all bring some of our own personal animals with
bring
us.
some animals so we can get all
Something
you know?
we all specialize in, you know,
Yeah.
and that way we can talk about our own pets and everything too, man. Definitely, bro.
And it's really snakes get rented a lot, right? For like video
for photo shoots and all that.
photos
Yeah,
and stuff like that,
yeah. Actually, we do a lot of collabs, man. Collabs, you'd be very surprised how many times you see your animal, man. Like you'll literally take a picture with someone random. They're like, "Can I use your snake real quick at the beach?" Venice Beach, it happens a lot. And then out of nowhere, you see the picture, and you're like, "Holy crap, that's my snake!" Like, "Oh, that's my this, that's my that." It happens
crazy.
so much. It is so awesome, man. Yeah.
Dude, it's awesome, and that's another thing I noticed has been happening often is like parties and shows and things like this, right? Like people bringing out reptiles for like a party event where kids can pet the lizard or the snake or whatever, right? Do you do anything like that, like rentals? Or,
I do birthday parties for any age group that wants to do birthday parties. I definitely do those.
So if anybody wanted to rent some of your animals to use for like a video shoot, you do that kind of stuff?
For collabs and all that, definitely. Yeah, we do that stuff as well. I'm always down to do collabs. We're going to start working on a couple of photography pieces pretty soon. So we're going to be collabing with a couple well-known photographers on Instagram and a couple well-known models on Instagram as well, and up-and-coming models. So we're going to definitely get into that. After this breeding season, kind of, I have everything in the incubator. I'm going to have a lot more time. But right now I have literally everything locking up and breeding. So
and parties and stuff like that too, like, you know.
Yeah, parties, it depends. I won't necessarily bring my animals around like an actual party per se. Just because I don't, I don't want like smoke around my animals or like alcohol or any dangerous.
Or you're worried more about your animal than.
Oh yeah, I'm more worried about the animal. Wait, for myself or something or what?
No, like, if it snatched up a kid or something, like,
Oh, I thought you meant like a party, like ragers and stuff.
No,
Like, yeah, I won't do that type of stuff.
Like
birthday
that.
party for kids.
I mean, like, how some people
dude.
rent animals for like birthday parties.
Yeah,
like,
no,
kids touch them and
I
stuff,
go there with that, and I'll bring like, let's say Haroon with me, right? Or Brian JTK, and we'll literally, be in control of the animals. We do not let any of that happen. If anyone's getting bit by anything,
if somebody wanted to
us.
do a reptile party, they could hit you up and do that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you hit me
sick.
up on Instagram. You go on the contacts or anything. You can do reptile birthday parties. I'm always more than happy to do that. We've done events too, man, that aren't birthday parties whatsoever. Like, I've had guys like throw barbecues, and they just want to have like something cool to do. COVID's been boring. We'll bring our mask and everything, and they want something cool to do. We just did one, JTK and I, in Long Beach, actually. I think we did one, man. And it was a kid's birthday party, but you could tell the dad had a lot of his friends there, and he was like, "Dude, you're not gonna believe this. Come check these out." Yeah, oh yeah, he was really involved with it and everything.
That's dope.
Yeah, we do events, man, all that type of stuff. If you want photo shoots, all that, man.
You heard it here first. The man, South Bay Reptiles, Josh, he could be the plug for all your reptile needs.
Yes, sir.
And all your reptile party needs. And if y'all need anything for any video shoots, if you need any exotic animals for any project you're working on, hit this man up right here. Yeah, we're about to sign out just because.
Been a pleasure.
Yeah, next time we'll bring some beer or something.
Yeah, definitely will, man.
Peace.
All right, guys.